My name's Colin. I live in Bath in the southwest of England. This is my channel, the Yay Nay or Meh channel, and it's time once again to do another Oscar preview show. This one is my above the line predictions for September, even though once again I've taken so long to do these 4 videos I've done. It's now October when I'm recording this, but I did most of the predictions I'm going to be talking about today in September, although there have been a couple of changes recently. A couple of major events have happened, one in a global sense and one in a personal sense. I've actually watched one of the contenders. Actually, I watched it a couple of hours ago. I just come back from it today. So I've got some personal insights into one of the films, and also there's been an announcement which rather surprised me, but it has been made and it has changed some of the rankings in this video, which will be dealing with the Best Director and the 2 Screenplay categories. Those are the only other above the line categories I'm going to be doing in these videos at the moment. We've already done a whole video about acting, and obviously a Best Picture and the secondary features category, which is documentary, international and animated feature. And now I'm going to round out this particular batch of predictions with the Best Director and the 2 Screenplay categories. And there has been a fair amount of movement since the last time I recorded one of these. And in the rankings over there, the up and down arrows that you see, that's going between tiers. I'm not really that concerned about which ranking everything goes in. I mean, my number 1 is what I expect to win, but the ranking doesn't really matter too much. But going between tiers, that's when the up and down arrows come in, and also signifying new entries as well. And yes, the number 1 is the number 1, what I expect to win, and there is a new predicted winner in the Best Director category. I really was not a believer in this film for as long as I've been doing these videos. I started doing them in, May, as the lineup for the Cannes Film Festival was announced. I was never a strong believer in it, and then, the buzz was getting bigger and bigger, and then the reviews were really, really good, and then I actually saw it, and I am actually a believer in Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, and I do believe he is going to win Best Director, sitting here at the very, very beginning of October 2025. There have been 2 sort of big films which have over the full festival period, which is why I'm doing these videos now, have really risen to the top, the cream rising to the top, and that is One Battle After Another and Hamnet. And they are 1 and 2 in a lot of these categories. But I went with One Battle After Another to win Best Director, for Paul Thomas Anderson to win Best Director for One Battle After Another, basically because I've seen it, and I really, really liked it. And also, Paul Thomas Anderson is definitely one of those people, one of those individuals who is due. You can classify Paul Thomas Anderson as one of the great American masters of the late 20th and 21st centuries, and yet he's never actually won an Oscar. He's got 11 nominations, no wins. And the reviews for One Battle After Another have been so strong that I think this might actually be the opportunity to give Paul Thomas Anderson an Oscar. Is it better than There Will Be Blood? No. Is it better than The Master? No. Is it better than Phantom Thread, which I mean, I've said it before, and I think I might be a bit of a heretic to say this, but I think my favourite Paul Thomas Anderson film might be Phantom Thread. I really like that film. And I think I actually do prefer Phantom Thread over One Battle After Another, but in this race, in this year, I think One Battle After Another could actually be an opportunity for Paul Thomas Anderson to get an Oscar for Best Director, and he's probably a producer as well, so if it does win Best Picture, we'll get another Oscar for that. Yeah, I think this might be Paul Thomas Anderson's year, which is a bit of a shame for Chloe Zhao, who has directed the other really big success out of the 4 festivals, and that's Hamnet. I mean, the difference is that Chloe Zhao has already won an Oscar. Chloe Zhao having only won in 2020 for Nomadland. I mean, yes, it was a weird year, it was the COVID year, but it did win, and Chloe Zhao became the second female director to win Best Director. Or was it third? Was it after Jane Campion for Power of the Dog? Or second or third? I mean, it's Bigelow, Campion, and Zhao, I think, are the 3 who've won Best Director. But regardless, whether she was second or third, she's one of the female directors who won it. But I mean, I've seen the film One Battle After Another. I've only seen a trailer for Hamnet, and not a very long one either. But it looks really, really good. It looks fascinating. I mean, as I've said in previous videos, I think Jessie Buckley's an absolute shoo-in to win Best Actress. So yeah, I mean, I think in many years, Chloe Zhao would win it. But it's up against a good Paul Thomas Anderson film. So I think Chloe Zhao's going to be out of luck this year, which is a shame. I mean, I'm going to be able to see Hamnet in 2 weeks' time, because that's one of the films I'm seeing at the touring programme of the London Film Festival over in Bristol. And I am planning on doing some field recorded reviews, out of the cinema reviews for all of my festival visits. And I'm planning plenty. I mean, I've already booked some tickets for the Cambridge Film Festival, so I'm going all the way east. And I've already booked tickets for the Manchester Animation Festival, so I'm going all the way north. Even further north is the Leeds Film Festival, which their lineup is being released a week today. So yeah, I'm planning several trips to film festivals around the country. I'm planning on doing field recorded reviews, out of the cinema reviews for all of those. So maybe that's something you'll be interested in. But yes, I mean, Hamnet is one of these films I'm going to be able to see at a festival screening. And it certainly looks good from the trailer, but trailers can be deceptive. But yeah, I think Chloe Zhao is a very talented filmmaker. I mean, her film, The Rider, I mean, it wasn't her debut. I think her debut was Songs My Brothers Taught Me. I mean, here is a Chinese woman who just decides to go to film school in America. I mean, she had a degree in something completely different and then went to NYU for film school out of nowhere, and then made a couple of films on Indian reservations in Dakota. I think it was North Dakota, one of the Dakotas. Really, really strange trajectory. I mean, and then she did Nomadland, which again is sort of like the vast vistas of the American West. And then got seduced by Marvel, and I quite liked her. What was it, Immortals, was it? Something like that? I can't remember even what it was called. I'm so over the MCU, but Chloe Zhao has had a very strange career, and this looks like a strange one as well. I mean, initially Hamnet was supposed to be directed by Sam Mendes, who is, I think, quite a different director to Chloe Zhao. And Sam Mendes is still credited as a producer on Hamnet, as is Steven Spielberg, which could help it come Oscar time. But yeah, Hamnet looks interesting, and I think it's going to be a 2-horse race between those two for Best Director. Which is bad news for the director who I thought was going to be the winner in my last Above the Line video, and that is Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value. I mean, it's a little bit tricky for a foreign director to get a Best Director win for a foreign language film. But it has happened. I mean, Bong Joon-ho did it, but that was, a strange year. Oh, Alfonso Cuarón did it for Roma as well, I think. So, I mean, it's not unprecedented, but I think the momentum for Sentimental Value has started to falter. I mean, everybody was very, very excited about it coming out of Cannes, but it started to drift downwards. I think a talky family drama, which seems to be what Sentimental Value is, maybe isn't as exciting or the kind of thing you need to put on your Oscar ballot. I mean, and again, this is one I'm going to be seeing at the Film Bath Festival. I mean, as I've said in previous videos, I wasn't the hugest fan of the Worst Person in the World. I respect it a lot. I liked it. I didn't love it. But Joachim Trier is a recognisable name, and I think, at the very least, I think he's going to get nominated. But I think with Anderson and Zhao now firmly at the top of the race, I don't think he's winning anymore. But he remains a nominee. As does Ryan Coogler. I mean, this was another one that... I mean, Sentimental Value got its big break early in the year, and so did Sinners. I mean, this sort of like blockbuster release early in the year. And everybody's saying, oh, this is it's going to sweep the Oscars, it's going to be brilliant, it's going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once again, which was also released very early in the year. But I think the momentum for that has also faded somewhat, and I never strongly believed it was going to be a winner on any category for Sinners except maybe original song. But now we've got K-pop Demon Hunters and Wicked for Good, so even that's not guaranteed. But yeah, I mean, as I said in my reaction to Sinners, I would be surprised if there is a better scene in the cinema of 2025 than the I Lied to You scene in the middle of Sinners, which is just magical. It's brilliant. It's so brilliantly executed, so technically well crafted. It's a brilliant scene, and I think as an individual scene, I really don't think that's ever going to be beaten. But it is a blockbuster. It is a black film without being about race in any way that a white voting member of the Academy would be comfortable with. I mean, as I've said in previous videos, voters in the Academy tend to go for the very blunt and the mawkish even. I mean, going for Driving Miss Daisy over Do the Right Thing in the same year. I mean, yes, that was 30 odd years ago, but I honestly don't think we've changed that much. I mean, Green Book, The Help, these are the kinds of films about race which the Oscars go for. Not a really clever, really subtle film about race like Sinners is. So yes, I think the goodwill towards Ryan Coogler as an individual and the goodwill towards Sinners as a film is still there, and I still think it's going to get nominated for Best Director. Don't think it's going to win. And my last nominee in the number 5 slot, I still think this is going to happen. I think it's more likely than not to happen that the Academy at large will want to make a political statement in giving Jafar Panahi a Best Director nomination for It Was Just an Accident. I mean, this is one I'm dying to see. I'm going to be able to see it in 2 weeks' time at the London Festival in Bristol. I mean, I'm such an admirer of Jafar Panahi. He will not be stopped. The fact he's been banned from making films for well over a decade now, and he's still making films, and he's still getting awarded for making these films, and they still seem to be good. Honestly, I haven't loved his last couple of films, but his history, the things he does, the things he has to do in order to just get films made, it's impressive. And I really, really hope that when I do see it was just an accident, I actually like it. And I actually think it's going to deserve the Oscars. I mean, because according to Gold Derby, this 5 seems pretty set. So we'll have to see. Or at least Gold Derby at the moment, I mean, it seems pretty set. But we'll have to see. I would really, really love it if Jafar Panahi actually gets a Best Director nomination and indeed a Best Screenplay nomination, which we'll be talking about later. But yes, at the moment, Jafar Panahi is in my number 5 slot. And yeah, squeezed out of my nominees list since the last video is Yorgos Lanthimos for Begonia. I'm starting to struggle seeing Begonia as a genuine contender in multiple categories. I mean, I still have Jesse Plemons as my winner for Best Actor, which I've done in a previous video, but that's a foolhardy act of someone who's dying on a particular hill. I mean, that's the hill I've chosen to die on. It's probably not, well, it's almost certainly not happening. I think Emma Stone's got a decent chance for nomination as Best Actress. I actually still think Begonia has a really good chance in Best Screenplay, which I'll be talking about later. But there's so many other films. I mean, the 5 I've already talked about. I think the narratives for all 5 of those directing performances are much stronger than Yorgos Lanthimos. And it seems that Begonia might be Yorgos Lanthimos doing stuff more on his wild and crazy and surreal side than the Oscar baity stuff he has done in the past, like Poor Things and The Favourite. It definitely feels more weird than Oscar baity. I still think it looks good, and I think I would like to see Begonia win, but again, I haven't seen it yet. That's another one. I'm seeing that one in Bristol in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it's just going to end up getting squeezed out, which is a shame, but I'm still fascinated to see Begonia. And yeah, speaking of seeing some of these films, a couple of hours ago, I came out of The Smashing Machine, directed by Benny Safdie. So I have actually seen this. Tonight, I have seen this. Actually, alongside Let's Not Go to the Dogs Tonight, which is Embeth Davids making her directorial debut in a memoir about a little girl who grew up in Rhodesia/Zimbabwe during the Civil War in 1980. It's actually really good. I mean, it's a fringe Oscar contender at best. Don't Let's Go to the Dogs Tonight. I think it's actually a good film, worth having a look out for. But I mean, I saw that, and I also saw The Smashing Machine. And even before I saw The Smashing Machine, I had Benny Safdie listed on the contenders tier of this Best Director list, because Benny Safdie won Best Director at the Venice Film Festival, which I think was a surprise to everybody. I mean, the jury for this year's Venice Film Festival, led by Alexander Payne, seems to have been very, very strange. I mean, giving the Golden Lion to Jim Jarmusch's Father, Mother, Sister, Brother. Nobody saw that one coming. And nobody saw Benny Safdie winning Best Director either. I mean, now I have seen The Smashing Machine. I mean, a few things I can say for sure. I think both Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt are really good contenders for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actress. I think I understand why Benny Safdie won Best Director. It's very noticeable directing. I'm not 100% sure it is good directing. I mean, the whole film, or basically the whole film, has been done in a very, very handheld, very, very naturalistic way. I think specifically trying to evoke the documentary about this MMA fighter Mark Kerr, also called The Smashing Machine, which this film is based on. Side note, on the Gold Derby list, The Smashing Machine is listed as a Best Original Screenplay, but it is clearly very, very much based on the documentary The Smashing Machine, which would make it an adapted screenplay. So I think Gold Derby's got it in the wrong list. I mean, I don't think it's a contender in either screenplay category, but that's just a little niggle, a little irritation that Gold Derby's got it wrong, I think. But anyway, I think it's going to be an adapted screenplay. But and it's based on this documentary. And the look of this narrative feature, The Smashing Machine, is very, very documentary-esque, which I don't really think is a benefit to the film. I mean, as I said, I think it's noticeable directing. I don't necessarily think it's good directing. I don't think it's always serving the best interests of the story, of the narrative, to shoot it in this very, very handheld, very, very naturalistic way. I don't think it was a style that worked. So, yeah, I mean, I think I kind of have to put Benny Safdie on this list because he did win Best Director at Venice. But no, I don't think it's going to be an actual contender. I just think the Venice jury was weird this year. And I think that Benny's brother, Josh Safdie, might actually have a slightly better chance of getting a Best Director nomination for Marty Supreme. I mean, honestly, I don't think either of the Safdie brothers are actually getting into the nomination list, but maybe Josh has a slightly better chance, because if Marty Supreme actually turns out to be a thing, which, as I've said in previous videos, I'm not 100% convinced about. I mean, I am still skeptical to some degree about Marty Supreme. So we shall see. I mean, it looks to me to be a film about a person with towering ambition, maybe even towering ego. I mean, I will do this. I will be something. I will make myself something. It seems to be more that. I mean, somebody who with unwavering self-belief rather than the con man narrative, which it was kind of sold out as in the very early stages of this. I'm really not sure what to make of Marty Supreme still. But it looks like it's going to be A24's big push, so maybe that will be enough to get Josh Safdie in. But as we've already discussed, the competition in this particular category of Best Director, very, very strong. So we shall see. And yeah, now we come to the other big news. I mean, having seen The Smashing Machine was one thing which affected this recording. And the other thing which affected this recording is The Testament of Anne Lee, as directed by Mona Fastvold, actually has a distributor. It finally got sold. And it got sold to Searchlight, which surprised me. I mean, as I said in the last video I recorded, it didn't feel like a Searchlight film to me. But that's where it's ended up. I mean, I think this means several things. It means that Rental Family is now, in my opinion, completely dead. It's not getting anything. It's not getting pushed for anything. I mean, I always thought, right from the beginning, when people started talking about Rental Family, the only reason people were talking about Rental Family is it seemed to be Searchlight's only strong push. I mean, right at the last minute, is this thing on, actually got finished, so who knows, maybe that could get in the mix. But so this looks like Searchlight's big push now, and as such, I think it instantly becomes a really, really big contender. Particularly leading actress Amanda Seyfried, I think she's got a really strong chance to get nominated now. maybe Thomasin McKenzie for supporting actress, and there's several male supporting performers which might sneak in. Maybe even Best Picture, we shall see, but certainly Amanda Seyfried. And now that this seems to be Searchlight's best push, I think the chances of actually getting a Best Picture nomination are really, really high now. But yeah, I really didn't think that Searchlight would go for it. I think what might have happened is Searchlight thought that Rental Family was going to be, the heartwarming juggernaut, everybody embracing it, everybody really falling for it. But it didn't happen. It got good reviews at Toronto, but it didn't win the People's Choice Awards. It didn't even place at the People's Choice Awards at TIFF. I mean, PCA was won by Hamnet, which is why I've been talking about Hamnet in the last couple of videos. And then second and third place were Frankenstein and Wake Up Dead Man, the Knives Out mystery. So the fact it got okay reviews, but didn't even place at the PCA, I think Searchlight thought, oh shit, we've miscalculated. And yes, we still have Is This Thing On, which will be closing the New York Film Festival, but it's only just been finished. It's very, very late in the day. I mean, can we actually mount a campaign? So Searchlight did, honestly, a sensible thing in my mind. I mean, The Testament of Anne Lee was just sitting there. It got good enough reviews. It's got the background of having a name director in it. I mean, Mona Fastvold, albeit she is a name because she is married to Brady Corbet and co-wrote The Brutalist, and they've worked together for years. But she has something of a profile, so why not just buy it and see what happens? I mean, like I said, at the very least, you've got Amanda Seyfried, who's a strong contender for Best Leading Actress, or seems a strong contender for Best Leading Actress. And maybe even Mona Fastvold comes along as Best Director. I mean, yes, I don't think Mona Fastvold is the strongest female director chance this year, because I've already talked about Chloe Zhao, and I'm actually going to be talking about another female director next. But yeah, all of a sudden we've got a lot of female directors in with a shout. I mean, when I didn't think there was going to be any when we started this process, but that's what happened. We give Academy voters, we give the Academy a personality and a set of rules it follows, as if it is an individual, but it is a group, it is a collective, an amalgam. And that amalgam does tend to want to promote individuals, directors, performers, whatever, who are not just white men. So having a non-male, non-white director like Chloe Zhao and non-male directors like Mona Fastvold and my number 10 slot, Catherine Bigelow for A House of Dynamite, which is another one of those films which did surprisingly well coming out of, that one was at Venice, I think, and Toronto. Well, it certainly did the full festival circuit and got really, really good reviews. And this seems like a really, really cool idea. I mean, Catherine Bigelow is a great director. I mean, like the first female winner of the Best Director category. Everybody was curious about this film. You know, the untitled Catherine Bigelow White House thriller was how it's appeared in the first few of my videos. Then it got named A House of Dynamite. And then a teaser trailer came out and it looked, oh, okay, this looks good. And then it played at the festivals and it was like, oh, it's getting really, really good reviews. And then a full trailer came out. And at least speaking personally, I was really impressed with that trailer. I mean, it's got a really, really strong cast. I mean, it's got people like Idris Elba and Rebecca Ferguson, Willa Fitzgerald, Greta Lee. Tracy Letts is in it as well. He looks like he's got a big role. At least he's got a big role in the trailer. It looks fascinating. And I mean, this concept of what it appears to be sort of like 20 minutes of a nuclear attack is about to happen on the United States. And we see these 20 minutes from various different perspectives, all different people telling it their part of the story. A little bit like Rashomon. I mean, I don't think you can see it, but that is a Rashomon poster right next to me, because Rashomon is my all-time favourite film, and I love that concept of the same story being told from different perspectives. I mean, this isn't exactly Rashomon because the veracity of what we're saying is true. I mean, it's there. It's what's happening. But different versions of the same 20 minutes. That sounds cool. And Catherine Bigelow is a great director. I mean, even Detroit. I mean, I liked Detroit. I mean, it was a difficult watch. It was a harsh film, but I think it was a very, very good film. And yes, a white director telling that particular story, maybe not the best idea, but at least that story got told. If she was the one who could get it made, then get it made. But yeah, I mean, that's just part of culture at the moment, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, there's lots of different directors who could get in, and all of a sudden 3 of them are women, which, like I said, I really didn't think that any woman was going to get into the running this year. But those top 5, I think, are very, very strong. I think that is probably going to be our best director lineup for the 2025/26 Oscars. So, yeah, right. Moving on to adapted screenplay. And yes, this is where the Hamnet surge does come up. Oh yes, I had Hamnet on my list in the last video I recorded, largely through lack of anything else. I didn't really believe in Hamnet at that point, and then it exploded at Toronto. So yeah, I think moving all the way up to the number 1 slot from the second tier is Hamnet. I mean, it does feel like a powerful film. I mean, getting a weepy, a melancholy film like this to win the People's Choice Award, which usually goes to a crowd pleaser. I mean, there are exceptions like Room and 12 Years a Slave also won PCA. But more often than not, it's a crowd pleaser. It's a film that the general public can embrace. So the fact that Hamnet won it, that feels like a lot. And having this novel written by Maggie O'Farrell and then adapted by Chloe Zhao, I mean, like I said, Sam Mendes had his fingers in it at some point as well. It seems to be a successful novel. I mean, until I heard about this film adaptation, I honestly never really heard of it, but it seems to be a successful novel. People seem to like it, and it's the type of story which does get nominated. And yeah, this is going to be another category where I think Hamnet's biggest rival is going to be one battle after another. I could easily see either of these scripts winning. I mean, apparently this is a loose adaptation of Thomas Pynchon's novel Vineland. Thomas Pynchon being the writer of Inherent Vice. I mean, that's the one PTA film which I was absolutely lost with that film. I did not like Inherent Vice at all. I think the only good thing that came out of Inherent Vice was that was the first time I'd seen Catherine Waterston in anything. I thought, I don't like this film, but I really like her. Yeah, I didn't like Inherent Vice, but I mean, this is another Thomas Pynchon adaptation, and that was the reason why I was so sceptical about One Battle After Another until the reviews came out, until people had seen it. And yeah, I think it's going to be a contender. I think it's probably a 2-horse. Well, it seems to be a 2-horse race at the moment between One Battle After Another and Hamnet to actually win the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. But I think a really, really strong contender to get nominated, I'd be astonished if this one won, but to get nominated, Wake Up Dead Man. I mean, because the first 2 Knives Out films have got Best Original Screenplays. Well, first one was original, second one was adapted because it was based on the first one. But both of them have got screenplay nominations, so why wouldn't Wake Up Dead Man also get a nomination? I mean, it's pretty simple. Rian Johnson knows exactly what he's doing. He's very, very good at it. I mean, going all the way back to Brick. Oh, and The Brothers Bloom. I absolutely love The Brothers Bloom. If you haven't seen Rian Johnson's film, The Brothers Bloom, that is a really, really cool film.
How'd you find me?
It's actually pretty simple. We're brothers. And I've come to the conclusion that you don't want out. You think you do, but you don't.
Where are we going?
New Jersey.
Let me grab my coat. This will be the last one.
I'll never ask you to do another con again. The largest private residence on the eastern seaboard, home of our final mark. Penelope Stamp lived at home her whole life.
So what kind of stuff do you do?
I collect hobbies.
Wow.
So, who's in? He's an artist with nitroglycerin. Kind of a thing.
Maximilian Melville, at your service.
I didn't expect him to actually be Belgian.
I'm not sure he is.
We're taking a steamer at noon tomorrow off the docks.
It's like an adventure story.
What's the con?
We go to St. Petersburg. We our guys in a phony setup who then double-cross us and kill us all. She drives off on the run from imaginary Russians. And we keep her money.
How much?
$2.5 million.
You're a genius, Stephen.
Trick to not feeling cheated is to learn how to cheat.
Sometimes I feel like she knows everything.
Okay, she's in position.
Why send her in alone?
Because no one's gonna even know we were ever here.
This is dangerous.
I think a little real danger might suit me.
You built us into this, you're gonna end it.
Bloom, trust me.
You guys seem a little tense.
That's not how this one's gonna end. Are you ready? This isn't an adventure story.
Well, it totally is.
So yeah, Rian Johnson, I think, is a great, great filmmaker. And he knows how to get screenplay nominations at the Oscars. So I am very, very confident that Wake Up Dead Man will get a nomination at the Oscars. I would be flabbergasted if it actually won the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. Yeah, then we have Begonia. This was my number one pick, my winner pick in my last screenplay video. But as I've already said, I think Begonia is getting squeezed out. I think it's going to be a little bit too surreal, a little bit too weird, a little bit too violent for Academy voters. I've still got it in as a nomination. I mean, I think the things it's actually up against, I mean, I don't feel really, really strongly about any of the films I've got left. So maybe through lack of competition, Begonia will still end up as a nominee in the Best Adapted Screenplay category. Who knows? And yes, now having a new entry in my actual nomination list is No Other Choice by Park Chan-wook and Don McKellar. There are two sides to this story. On the one side, I think No Other Choice, again, coming out of Venice, winning the international PCA, over sentimental value, suddenly it's a really, really big contender. And Korea, for once, actually did the right thing and submitted No Other Choice to the Oscars when they didn't submit The Handmaiden. Stupid bastards. But Korea has submitted No Other Choice, so it's going to be a really, really strong contender in international. It's going to be up against It Was Just an Accident, which France submitted, and Sentimental Value, but it's going to be a contender. No Other Choice, it is notable. It's a notable entry in the Oscars. But Park Chan-wook and Don McKellar got into trouble with the WGA, the Writers Guild of America. Both Park Chan-wook and his co-writer Don McKellar, who worked on No Other Choice, which was initially going to be an English language film, then he changed his mind and Park got a couple of Korean writers in as well. But Park Chan-wook and Don McKellar were working on the HBO television series The Sympathizer, and were deemed to be scabs by the WGA during the 2023 writers' strike, and they've been expelled from the WGA. Whether this will have any effect on the Oscar chances of No Other Choice, particularly in the writing categories, I'm not sure. And it seems like a bit of an overreaction. I mean, basically, The Sympathizer was in post-production during the WGA strike, so they were doing little edits, little things during the post-production process, and that was deemed to be enough that both Park and McKellar were expelled from the WGA. Seems a bit of an overreaction to me, and Park has publicly stated he believes in unions and collective bargaining and all that kind of stuff. He didn't mean to do it when he says he didn't mean to do it. He and McKellar didn't mean to do it. But they've been expelled from the WGA. So whether that will have any effect on its Oscar chances, I don't know. But I think there's enough stuff surrounding No Other Choice that for right now, for me, it's still in as a new entry in my nomination list for Best Adapted Screenplay. And yeah, dropping out of my nomination list since the last time I recorded is Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, which, quite frankly, I never believed in at all. But this is a relatively weak category this year, at least it seems to be, and there's nothing I strongly believe in. So I had Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere in a nomination list as Best Adapted Screenplay. I never really believed in it, and with the advent of Hamnet and No Other Choice, I'm okay with it dropping out of the nomination list into the contend list. I mean, you have to remember that for some reason the Academy loves a music biopic. Whether that's enough to get it a screenplay nomination, probably not, but it's still on the list. As is Frankenstein, which has also dropped out of the list. I mean, it is an adaptation of classic literature, but we've seen it many times before. I mean, the story is that this is kind of the same script that was used for Kenneth Branagh's version of Frankenstein, which was flamboyant, as Kenneth Branagh is wont to do. I mean, once he gets going, Kenneth Branagh doesn't have an off switch. I mean, he is wild and crazy all the damn time. But I mean, that's, you know, very grand version of Frankenstein is apparently roughly the same script that Guillermo del Toro is now using. So it might be interesting doing a comparison between the two films. But yeah, I mean, yes, it's Guillermo del Toro. Yes, it's an adaptation of classic literature. Is that enough to get an actual nomination for adapted screenplay? Maybe not, but it's still on my contenders list. And yeah, still on the list, I mean, I did have this in my last video, is the Netflix film Train Dreams. In many years, I think this would have been a very, very strong contender, but it is on Netflix, and Netflix has so many other films, including Frankenstein. It certainly looks like the kind of film that would have got a screenplay nomination in about 2002. It feels like that kind of film, you know, Joel Edgerton going out, working the rail lines, going out into the American West and starting a family and having the wide open vistas of America. I mean, as I said, I think cinematography is one to look out for, definitely, for Train Dreams. I mean, like I said, it's a reasonably weak category, I think. So why not put Train Dreams in? It certainly feels like it might have a chance. Haven't seen it yet, but it's coming out reasonably quickly on Netflix, so we shall see about Train Dreams, but it remains a contender. Yeah, and I've still got Header in the list. I really, really want this to be good. I really, really want this to be notable because I love Tessa Thompson. I love Nia DaCosta. Like I was talking about with Frankenstein, it's an adaptation of classic European literature. I mean, Hedda Gabler is one of the great pieces of 19th century European literature and theatre. So having a new version of that starring Tessa Thompson and a gender-swapped Nina Haas, I mean, that character in the play is a man who Hedda Gabler used to have a relationship with, now it's a woman. Hey, 21st century. It feels really cool. But Amazon MGM are just dumping it. I mean, it's a 1 week cinematic release and then they're dumping it onto Amazon Prime. So I really don't think it's a contender, unfortunately, much as I would like it to be. But God damn it, it's still on my contenders list because I want it to be noticed. And yeah, in my number 10 slots, I ran out of things I strongly believe in. So I just chucked Wicked for Good in there because why not? The play Wicked, or the musical Wicked, it has those things to it. I mean, it's got the legacy of the film version of The Wizard of Oz, as well as the legacy of the Alfred Baum books, and the legacy of Stephen Schwartz's musical, and with the stage version of the musical. I mean, the fact that Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel had a cameo in the first one, that was delightful. And they were very good in it. If this film is good, I mean, and this, I think, is going to be good, or at least it's still in my list of Best Picture contenders. Maybe it's going to be a contender in Adapted Screenplay as well. Who the hell knows? But it's in at my number 10 slot. I didn't really have anything else to put in my number 10 slot that I believed in at all. So, congratulations, Wicked for Good. You're in my number 10 slot. Okay, moving on to original screenplay. And I still have the same top two that I did in my last video. I think these are going to be the two strongest contenders for the original screenplay category. But for this video, I'm sticking with my number one from the last video, which was Sentimental Value. I mean, I've said before that I'm a huge fan of the co-writer of this film, Eskel Vogt. His work as a director, I'm a huge fan of, and I like the work of Joachim Trier as well. And this feels like a very talky, a very wordy, a very dialogue-driven film, a family drama. That's what it seems to be. And that kind of, amount of writing, amount of dialogue can get you over the line. And I think that's going to be enough to put Sentimental Value at the top of the list over Sinners, which, yes, has really fascinating themes. I mean, this idea of the griot, somebody who can pierce the veil between the living and the dead through music, which is essentially what Sinners is about. Yes, there's vampires, but it's really about the music and cultural appropriation. It's got so many themes, so many ideas, so many clever little details, which you only pick up on once you've seen it sort of like 5, 6, 7 times, which I have at this point. Largely through people reacting to it, maybe because I did a reaction, as I talked about earlier. It's got so many really fascinating ideas in it, but it does have that blockbuster thing to it, and it does have that it's a black film, but not the kind of black film that white Academy members feel comfortable voting for, or might not feel comfortable voting for. So there's hindrances to Sinners, which is why I think it's going to end up in second place behind Sentimental Value, which I do think is the strongest contender in this category. Yeah, still on the list from last time as a nominee is It Was Just an Accident. I mean, as I talked about in Best Director, I mean, basically it's exactly the same thing I can say in this category. A political statement having Jafar Panahi as an Oscar nomination. That's essentially what it is. And as things stand, I've got Jafar Panahi getting a Best Director nomination and a Best Screenplay, Original Screenplay nomination as well. I think both of them might actually happen. I mean, looking at what the contenders are, I think Jafar Panahi might be a double Oscar nominee by the end of the day. Maybe triple. Well, no, it's been submitted by France to the international feature. I don't think that would technically be an Oscar nomination for Jafar Panahi, because it's usually a nomination for the country. But 2 or 3 Oscar nominations going to Jafar Panahi, which is cool. And I mean, as I said, I'm going to be able to see this very soon, and I'm dying to see this film. So yeah, right now I think it's actually going to get nominated in both director and original screenplay. And yeah, the next nominee in my number 4 slot is a new entry. I mean, as I talked about briefly already, well, not so briefly, Catherine Bigelow and her film A House of Dynamite. Even though the screenplay of this film is Noah Oppenheim, who used to be a news producer and a somewhat controversial news producer who allegedly tried to nix the Harvey Weinstein story. But yeah, so a news guy writing a film about a nuclear attack on America from the perspective of the White House. I mean, that sounds actually kind of interesting. I mean, presumably he knows what he's talking about if he was a news producer for so long. But yeah, having Catherine Bigelow directing it and having that Rashomon-ish approach. I mean, like I said, the reviews coming out of Venice and Toronto, I think, or coming out of the fall festival season, were very, very good for a House of Dynamite. So, yeah, I think this is a contender. And, I mean, actually, this I also think is a reasonably weak category. I mean, I'm struggling to have films I strongly believe in the original category as well. So in that scenario, House of Dynamite is a new entry as an actual nominee. And moving up a tier into the nomination position is Marty Supreme, because I believe in this slightly more than the other films that were in the nomination list in my last video, which really collapsed after the fall festival season. So, as I've said, I don't know what Marty Supreme, the film, even is, but I think, or I guess, it's my best option for my number 5 slots in my nomination list at this point, because dropping out of my nomination list since my last video, we have Jay Kelly, which kind of tanked at the fall festival season, which really surprised me. I mean, everybody was thinking, oh yeah, this is going to be Noah Baumbach, back to Marriage Story days. This is going to be Netflix's big push. And it's not. Or at least according to the reviews coming out of Venice. I mean, Telluride, the reviews were reasonably good, actually. But coming out of Venice, they were really poor. This is kind of a game of momentum at this point, and the momentum for Jay Kelly has fallen off. So, yeah, it's not a strong contender to get nominated anymore and has dropped out of my nomination list. As has After the Hunt. I mean, talk about cratering. I mean, this was, in my mind, a very strong contender in my last video, and then the reviews coming out of Venice were really not good. And it looks like After the Hunt is just not a contender at all. I mean, maybe Julia Roberts for Best Actress. Other than that, probably not. So, yeah, it was a nominee last time. It's not anymore, but it's still on my contenders list. And, yeah, in my number 8 slot, I think this is more hope than anything, because this is one of the films I have actually seen. Sorry, Baby. And I did really like it. I mean, I can't say I was absolutely, utterly blown away by it, but I did really like it. I think Eva Victor as director, star, and writer, I think she did a really, really strong job in all 3 of those. And if it was what I wanted to get nominated, I think there's a chance that she would get nominated on all 3 of those. But I have to have some level of reality here. And this is a prediction of what I think will happen, not I think what I want to happen. And even saying that, I do think that Sorry Baby has a decent chance of getting an original screenplay nomination. So it remains on the list, and if nothing else, I recommend you watch Sorry Baby. I mean, it's hard going, it deals with some difficult issues, it deals with the interactions of a young female student with an older male professor, and not necessarily some consensual interactions. If you are not triggered by that kind of thing, then yes, I think Sorry Baby is a very good film. And yes, it remains on the list because I hope that it is an actual contender, and I hope that people might actually watch it if you haven't already. So, Sorry Baby is in my number 8 slot. And yeah, then we have a couple of new entries. I mean, as I've already talked about, now that The Testament of Anne Lee actually has a distributor, and it's the right kind of distributor, where I think it's a pretty safe bet that The Testament of Anne Lee is absolutely A1, number 1 contender for Searchlight. This is the film they are going to push. I mean, like I said, mostly for Amanda Seyfried, but maybe, Mona Fastvold as director, best song maybe? Or certainly best score from Daniel Bloom, the guy who did The Brutalist. Maybe one of the supporting actors as well, maybe Thomasin McKenzie for supporting actress. There's a profile there, there's a package there. And I think original screenplay might be part of it. I mean, yes, it is apparently a musical. How much of a musical it is, how much of the Daniel Bloom. I mean, I honestly don't trust Daniel Bloom to do catchy songs, but he's written songs for this. How much of a musical is it actually? Is that going to be off-putting for some voters? I don't know. We're going to have to see. But I'm fascinated to find out. And I think there is a genuine chance that The Testament of Anne Lee is going to be a contender in Best Original Screenplay. And yeah, here in my number 10 slot, we are in a similar situation that I was in my Best Supporting Actress category in my acting video that I've just finished or just released. I kind of have to talk about Weapons. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked Weapons. I think it's a really, really cool film. I think Zach Cregger is a really talented and a really creepy writer and director. I think Barbarian, there's some freaky shit in Barbarian that has burrowed its way into my mind. It wasn't quite the same with Weapons. I liked Weapons. I really did. But I personally don't think Amy Madigan is a strong contender for Best Supporting Actress. And with the buzz surrounding Amy Madigan, I think there are people who are genuinely thinking that Weapons is a contender in this category of Best Original Screenplay. I mean, it's certainly doing okay on Gold Derby. I mean, it's not a strong contender, but people are listing it on Gold Derby. And fine. I don't think this is an Oscar-worthy film. Like I said, I liked it. I have done a reaction to it. I haven't finished editing it because we're doing these things, but I've watched it and hopefully at some point my reaction video to it will be released. But I just don't see this as an Oscar film. I think it's good. I think it's creepy. Not as creepy as other stuff. But I just don't see it as an Oscar film. But it has to be on the list. I kind of have to talk about it. I mean, of the films I've already seen, I've actually seen that would be in this category. I mean, as I talked about earlier, Gold Derby has The Smashing Machine in Best Original Screenplay. I think it should be adapted. But taking that out, Materialists, Celine Song's Materialists, I would take over Weapons. Steven Soderbergh's film Black Bag. I mean, that is a really clever, really intricate spy movie. I mean, spy movies usually aren't my thing. I really like Black Bag. I mean, the way that the puzzle box fits together, all the, are you double crossing me? Are you triple crossing me? You've got a secret plan which nobody's aware of except you. I really, really like Black Bag. Probably it's not going to get into the Oscars, but I prefer it over Weapons. I would definitely take it over Weapons. There's other stuff out there, and I just don't think The Weapons is an Oscar film. But there's enough buzz surrounding it that I kind of have to talk about it, so it's on the list at my number 10 slot, just as Amy Madigan was in my number 10 slot for Best Supporting Actress. Yeah, I really don't think Weapons is a thing. It's certainly not for me personally. So, that is the end of this video, and that is the end of this round of Oscar predictions in the month of September, now bleeding into October. I mean, in the wake of the fall festivals, I had to do these videos, or wanted to do these videos, but squeezing this in with all the other things I'm committed to, it's been difficult. So here we are in October. And yeah, the next time I am going to be doing one of these series of prediction videos is probably after I've travelled around the country and gone to all these film festivals, and that's probably going to be the end. Oh, it's going to be early November, because I'm going to Cambridge in early November. So I'm probably not going to be doing prediction videos until November, but as I said a bit earlier, I'm planning. I don't know if it'll come off. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I'm planning on doing some field recorded reviews, out of the cinema reviews and all these festival screenings around the country for all the films I'm seeing. I'm seeing so many at Film Bath. I think it's 18 films I'm watching at the Film Bath Festival in 2 weeks, which is can be fun but kind of exhausting, I think. But yeah, I'm planning on doing some field recorded reviews coming out of the cinema, so you can look out for those. I've got reaction videos which I should be doing. I mean, again, you probably can't see it, but I've got Charmed reactions. I'm trying to get online before I go around the country, go gallivanting around the country, going to film festivals. So yeah, I mean, have a look around on my channel, maybe find something you like, maybe you subscribe. If you've watched this far into the video, maybe I deserve a like. You could also hit the notification bell, leave a comment. I mean, what do you think are going to be the best directors and screenplays of the 2026 Oscars? Be interesting to see if I get any responses to this, which I never do, but we live in hope. So, yeah, I think that is basically it. And this video needs to wrap up. So, all that remains for me to say is this has been a presentation of the Yay, Nay or Meh channel, and I will see you next time where I shine a light on TV and cinema, both obvious and obscure.